Modern COD is not in a great state, to say the least. Year after year, Activision seemingly finds new ways to mess up, and I for one am sick of it. Like, seriously, they have the recipe for the world's best shooter and just refuse to use it year after year after year. Whether this is because they want to add new stuff to the game and are just unfathomably incompetent, or just like pissing people off, I just don't know. What I do know is that there is not a single person who likes modern Call of Duty, especially compared to anything pre-2019, so what does this mean for the gaming industry and current disillusioned prior COD players? Well, for the industry, everyone from indie devs to AAA gaming giants see this player base and want to make something they'll play. But the important part is players who are fed up with the game and want something new. They want something that will not kill COD, but just make Activision get their shit together. This is where XDefiant comes in.
Here they come! Fire up high! Yeah, that's it!
XDefiant was announced in July of 2021 and had a beta in early 2023. The hype for this game was insane in the shooter scene for several reasons. It was being made by Ubisoft and was going to feature several of their franchises' playable characters with abilities from said games, and it was going to be skill-oriented and fast-paced. But most importantly of all, it was going to be a new boots-on-the-ground shooter in an era where COD reigned supreme. Cod Killer was a title given to this game almost immediately after it was announced, and for good reason. Several core COD features were present, like weapon customization, fast TTK, modes, and weapon types. COD fans were especially fast to latch on to XDefiant given the fact that COD was arguably in its worst state ever at the time. XDefiant recently fully released about a month ago, and after quite a few hours in, I can confidently say a lot of things about this game. Things that many people who are in the shooter sphere cannot bring themselves to agree with. I just want to say two things first. Number one, XDefiant is a game I enjoyed a lot and I just want nothing but for it to succeed. It has the most potential out of damn near any game I've played in recent memory, and I hope that it gets the attention it needs to be in the best place it can be. I just don't think we'll ever get there due to Ubisoft's incompetence in recent years and its projected content updates which have already been released. And number two, I am not a COD fanboy. It seems that anyone who criticizes this game is instantly labeled as such, and I think that's a weak mindset. Call of Duty is just not fun anymore, and I don't like what it's become, though that was more than obvious from the beginning of this video. Let's start with what I do like about XDefiant and what I think it does better than modern COD, which yes, I will be comparing it to because that's the best example of a modern shooter, and the whole point of this video is showing why XDefiant has no chance to kill Call of Duty. The thing I like the most about this game is the faction system. Having abilities is always fun in shooters like COD, and it really reminds me of the Black Ops 3 system, which was extremely similar, though these are much more balanced. That being said, some abilities are balanced to the point they're either boring or useless, and the addition of passives for some factions and not for others is definitely an odd choice. The time it takes for them to regenerate and the fluidity of using them during gameplay is also a little dodgy, but for the most part it's a good system that allows for a lot of variability. The gunplay and movement is really nice and is some of the best I've played in a while other than COD. The sniping is especially a highlight, but it's also kind of a problem that I'll talk about later. The absence of SBMM is something I'll consider an upside, especially compared to current COD, but it also leaves many matches looking like this. COD matches are always balanced in this regard, but this makes them much more boring, while XDefiant allows for more complete stomps. Not sure which is worse, honestly. Rank doesn't have gun or ability bans as of now. Not sure how this will change in the future, as I'm fairly sure it hasn't fully released yet, but this is a problem I have with Call of Duty's ranked. Having banned guns is more skill-based, but it's always boring after a few matches. The weapon camo system is a nice breath of fresh air, and it's nice to just frag in order to unlock camos. Now onto the stuff I dislike. Time to kill is insanely inconsistent. Like, I thought COD was horrendous, but XDefiant is on another level. It suffers from the same problem that COD does, where assault rifles reign supreme and SMGs versus mini assault rifles. Semi-autos kill in twice the time as them and are impossible to hit anything with. LMGs are just bulky assault rifles with a giant clip. And snipers are busted because they essentially never hit marker and have non-existent flinch. Recently, COD learned that if you make pistols just about as good as primaries, it allows for a lot more interesting variety, but XDefiant clearly didn't get that memo. And assault rifles themselves are all over the place. Some are just worse than others with no variation. Modern Warfare 2019 was a good example of assault rifles done right and had an amazing variety, even if that game had blatant metas. Speaking of metas, this game seemingly embraces them, which really rubs me the wrong way. Metas are just not good for games. Live service games always have them, but devs should be fighting against them and should strive to make every gun, and in XDefiant's case abilities, as balanced as possible so that no one gun is less fun to use than another one. Gun unlock challenges are a slog and put me off the guns they unlock. I know this is a free-to-play game, but the fact that they shoved the battle pass in front of my face before I even saw the main menu is just so off-putting for a company to do. I vividly remember half my excitement to play drained from my soul as I saw that. This leads to a bigger problem though, as other than guns and the 3 basic camos, there's absolutely nothing to grind for. Get more into that later. The dead set grind requirement is also absurd and just incentivizes people to buy it with real money. This is absolutely pay to win, no questions asked, as it would take about a week of grinding while the person who pays gets it instantly. Really hope further updates don't do this. Already mentioned this a little earlier, but abilities are completely out of whack, ranging from useless to extremely good. I'll highlight Echelon as the biggest example here. The stealth suit is just a dud, and I'm 99% sure there's nothing they can do to fix it. I can always spot someone using it, and it generally does nothing unless you're going against Helen Kellers. On the other hand, the recon suit is completely overpowered and unfun to go against. Overused joke, I know, but this is literally free wall hacks. It tells you when you're being detected, but the person using it against you could literally be anywhere or on any corner, not to mention it reveals to your team as well. Their ult is extremely broken, as not only do you get free wall hacks of the entire map this time, but you also get a one-tap pistol that outguns literally everything. Not a massive problem, as ults take 6 quadrillion years to charge, but I genuinely want to destroy everything in my immediate vicinity when I go against more than 2 of these spy motherfuckers. The weapon attachment system is slow as a paraplegic with no feet, and is somehow boring as well. Nothing like ammo types, mods, or conversion kits. The equipment is also really bare bones. Could have at least thrown a throwing knife or something, man, Jesus. Somehow all of that wasn't even my biggest problem with XDefiant. My biggest problem is the longevity. In other words, my desire to keep playing this game is just null at the moment. I don't want to unlock anything. I don't want to play ranked, as the core of this game just isn't all that engaging. I don't want to try new modes I haven't, because I've played them all in better games. 25% of this problem comes down to my complaints earlier about progression and core game design, but most of it comes down to this. This is the current roadmap for XDefiant. It was released about the same time the game came out. This is absolutely nothing. Nothing at all. Let's compare this to the additions of the current COD season. That's 3 weapons versus 4 plus aftermarket parts which often act like different weapons, 3 maps versus 4, and a bunch of extra things that don't really matter versus the piles of content for the different modes of COD. You know, it's really bad when 1/3 of your major update is Battle Pass related. This is beyond unacceptable. When I was playing this for the first few days, I was thinking about what the Season 1 update was going to add before I checked out the roadmap. I imagined like 2 new factions, an overhaul of progression, an additional attachment slot, at least 10 new weapons, some type of additional equipment. But yeah, nope, literally nothing. Ubisoft has really gotten lazy with updates recently, man. Look at Siege. Over there, the new season was essentially just adding membership. Really though, Ubisoft clearly can't handle a game like this at all. I'm certainly going to play the new season, but not for more than like 2 days, because why would I? What do I get from XDefiant that I don't get from COD or some other shooter? When I started making this video, the notion that this game was a Cod Killer was still going strong, but now that it's been about a month since release, the attitude towards this game and its future has taken a complete 180 from everyone in the shooter community. Bold statement time again, but this game is going to be dead within 6 months if Ubisoft keeps doing what they're doing. Because Ubisoft has their own launcher and doesn't publish data regularly, I can't use players as an example of this, however I can use stream charts. XDefiant went from 203,811 peak viewers to 21,290 in just a month. The most obvious criticism of this analysis is that the games are obviously going to have less viewers after release, and definitely when the new season is about to come out, we're caught in a content drought. True, we don't have enough data to come to a 100% concise conclusion, however I think this is still proof of a fairly extreme decline. Anecdotally, wherever I go on the internet, I keep seeing that people are fed up with this game and just don't feel like it's as engaging as Prime COD was. XDefiant is a fun game, with extreme potential, but we are in a rare scenario where we essentially have a time machine to view the future of this game. Ubisoft has literally looked us in the eyes and said they are adding absolutely nothing to this game. And I hate to say it, but this is absolutely doomed without a doubt in my mind. It really is sad, as I wanted a COD palate cleanser, but now, all we can hope for in the near future is for Black Ops 6 to steer the shooter genre into the right direction. What do you think? Was I completely wrong about something in your mind? Have a different take on the game's future? I'll gladly have a conversation about all my talking points in the comments below. I really do hope I'm wrong about this whole thing, but modern game devs have really shit the bed recently, and I think I've become really good at seeing disasters coming from a mile away. Anywho, I hope you enjoyed the video, and have a good one.